In the fabled land of Northern California, nestled in the Valley of Sacramento, two friends begin a journey to enlighten the world about their experience living life as a Xennial. But what is a Xennial, you may ask? If you wish to know, then follow them on their adventures.
Welcome to the Xennial Chronicles. This is James.
This is Mike.
And I just got to ask, Mike, first of all, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for coming back. I got to ask, are we going to have another visit from your wife today?
I'm not entirely sure anymore. I don't think so, though. She texted me earlier, so she knows what's going on. She's actually out doing some shopping right now, so she's not even in the house at the moment. So we may be safe, but she was doing some gardening back in the back and needed something last time, so... Yeah.
So what's going to happen is you're going to get a text or a phone call during this because she's going to want you to make a decision on something that she's out shopping for. I get it. I know how that goes.
Yeah, I know. I got to keep my phone on. Just take a look at it
all the time. The reason I'm asking is because for the first time in a long time, because I normally can remember pretty well what goes on in the podcast, but for the first time in a long time, I actually sat and wanted to listen because it's been a while. I wanted to listen with fresh ears to the podcast. I know you listen to it every week because you got to go back and edit and and see what's in there and whatnot. And I was like, I'm going to take a listen, see how everything sounded, see how it all worked out. And I was so shocked with the propheticness of what I was saying in the beginning of that when we talked about your wife interrupting and me saying if it happens again, you got to keep it in. You got to be keeping every bit of it in.
Yeah.
And then it happened again. And I was just like, man, I knew I know what's going on. I see how things go. I get people. You start to see their rhythms and what they do. You get it, you understand it. So I was just like, that's funny. That's really, really funny. I hope anybody listening is laughing too. But anyway, that actually started a bit of a nostalgia trip for me, going back and looking at things. And you and I were discussing a little bit about this. Again, just giving people a little bit of insight to how we kind of do things with the podcast. We've said before, we have little conversations about things before we start and sometimes conversations after, depending on how much time we have left.
Yeah.
But there are often times when we're in the middle of our conversations beforehand, we're like, wait, stop. This would be really cool to talk about on the podcast. We're going to wait and talk about it on the podcast. Sometimes we recreate conversations. I remember one time, of course, we talked about it. We tried to do a podcast like 4 times and had to recreate the conversation 4 different times.
Yeah.
And Mike had to sound surprised 4 different times, which is hilarious because I genuinely try to surprise him with stuff. But I did start doing a little bit of nostalgic look back on things, which culminated in last night. My wife had to go and do some late night shopping, after dinner shopping, which normally by the time we have dinner here in the house, we don't want to go anywhere. But she basically made the decision to go and do the things she wanted to do last night instead of having to do it over the weekend, especially with this weekend. We're in Memorial Weekend.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. Everybody doing their the silly things that everybody does on Memorial Weekend that literally have nothing to do with Memorial Day and the actual purpose of Memorial Day.
You mean like barbecuing?
I still don't understand the concept of we have to barbecue and go camping on the day that we're supposed to remember dead soldiers who protected us. I don't get that. I think it should be more of a somber day.
What a way of putting it out. Good Lord.
Sorry, that's the reality of it. And my yearly reminder to people, do not go to your friends who are military veterans and thank them for their service this weekend. That is not this weekend.
I think we have actually made that statement before. Wrong day.
We've made it multiple times before. I make it every single damn year when I see people do it, and I'm like, you people are stupid. This is not the weekend to do this.
Oh, this will actually be the day too. Actually, this podcast is coming out on that day.
It's coming out on Memorial Day, yeah. And I've been lucky enough to be with a military veteran when somebody's come up to them around Memorial Day and thank them for their service, and then respond back with, "Why are you thanking me? I'm not dead." And it's like the person just goes white, like, "Oh, what?" And yeah, the military guy was mad that somebody would thank them on a day like today.
Absolutely.
And now here's the thing: if you have friends, family, loved ones that did serve in the military, and they lost friends people that they served with while they were serving, while they were over wherever they were. This is a day where maybe you show them a little compassion and understanding, because it does mean something to them. For anybody that you know that again has friends, family, loved ones that were lost in military service, this is a day that's important to them.
Yes,
because we're remembering the people that were lost while in service to this country, not the people that came back, the ones that were lost. And the ones that came back will tell you, honor the ones that are lost on this day, not us.
Yep,
we came back, they didn't.
Yeah,
they gave the ultimate sacrifice, so honor them today. And that's just my thing. Is like it should be about doing that honoring, not about, we got to go camping at the lake and fire up the grill and drink a bunch of buds. No, that's not what this is supposed to be about. By the way, we are not sponsored in any way, shape, or form by Budweiser. We would be glad to do that if they wanted to, but we are currently not. I just want to state that. Sorry, man. Whenever we're mentioning the products, I like to state it as much as possible, just because if they do ever hear it and they want to give us some kind of sponsorship, all right.
I love your ambiguous. Your ambiguous openness to endorsement. I love it.
I mean, unless it's something like Corona or Heineken, which I don't like. Although here's the thing, Corona and Heineken, if you hear this and you're thinking like, okay, he doesn't like us, big deal. If you still want to sponsor us because you think that maybe me insulting your product will help it sell better, I'll still do that for you.
Speaking
but
of,
I'm not I like it.
Yeah. Well, here I actually have to
like it.
The funny part about this is, like, talking about multiple brands at the same time. I actually know somebody personally. She was in a band and they celebrated their bassist birthday one year, right? And this band was looking for an endorsement from Jägermeister. Well, before they had started
endorsement from them,
I'm sure you would, but so what they did was they were doing a birthday celebration for their bassist, and if I remember correctly, they had a flyer that they made for their bassist's birthday, but the information for the flyer was on a liquor bottle that the bassist was holding. It was like a photo shoot, and she was holding the bottle, and they replaced the label with the flyer information. Creative as hell, but the bottle was obviously a Jack Daniel's bottle. Now, they didn't have the brand name on the bottle, but it was an obvious Jack Daniel's bottle. And I remember her telling me...
Jaeger's like, no.
Yeah, Jaeger was like, well, we can't do that. And so she legitimately said she ended up learning that lesson. And one of the things that she commented years later, I think on somebody's Facebook post, was just make sure that when you're looking for an endorsement from Jägermeister, you don't use a Jack Daniel's bottle on one of your flyers. And it was like, so the mixed...
Or just make sure that you don't use a Jack Daniel's bottle to do anything but throw in the trash. Because
how dare you, sir?
I dare. I totally dare.
Well, fucking.
I will stand behind. We are
just going to have to ask for separate endorsements then.
I mean, again, if Jack Daniel's is fine endorsing you and they're perfectly okay with me insulting you for it because they like the comedy dynamic of it, fine, I'm good with that. But hey, I'm speaking of this from somebody who grew up with a parent who actually specifically collected. Now, and that's the word, the important words here. Collected Jack Daniel's paraphernalia. Did not like heavily drink it.
Yeah.
Occasionally drink it, but not heavily. But like, I grew up and there was like 6 full unopened bottles of Jack Daniel's in these metal tins. That also had like playing cards. These huge metal tins with playing cards.
Thinking, like, why are they in? Okay, yeah.
No,
continue.
The metal tin is like, I'm talking like it's a rectangular metal tin, and one side of it has the spot for the bottle, and then there's like a deck of playing cards and like something else in there. They were big collectible items. Oh, these were collector's items in my house.
Oh yeah, Jack Daniel's merch game is top notch. They have some of the best like crazy merchandise. Oh, I wanted to tell you, back in the day, in the Prylosa pit, in the garage, we had a large Jack Daniel's car hood.
Yes.
That was hanging on the wall. Well, I gave that car hood to a friend of mine when I was moving out because I didn't have room for it. I just recently... I
always thought that Seaweed got it. Seaweed? I thought
no, he had other stuff. He had other smaller stuff, but the car hood, because he was living in an apartment at the time.
Okay.
So, and I moved to an apartment as well.
I thought
so
he'd been the one to get it.
Yeah, neither one of us could have saved it anywhere, and we had I had a storage area that I had, but most of the stuff that we had actually was in a small storage area that we moved before we moved into a house. But when I got into the house, the first thing I thought of was, man, where is that car hood? And I realized I had given it to a friend, to another friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I recently, in the last couple of weeks, re-procured that car hood again.
You got the car hood back.
I got the car hood back, and I've been asking about it for years. I recently got it back. So
is it going in the studio?
It will be going into the studio. Definitely will be going in the studio. It's going back home, man. It's already in there right now. It's a little worse for wear. It needs a little bit of repair. But after I just ask to be able to do one thing at some point in time. What's that?
One thing.
What?
I would like to be able to take a picture where, and I promise I will use a squeeze water bottle full of just water or whatever other non-damaging fluid you would want me to use, but water would be perfectly fine. Just to make it, take the picture to make it look like I'm doing like the sticker on the back of trucks of Calvin peeing on things. I want to make it look like that. Take a picture of me making it look like I'm peeing on the hood, but it's just water. I don't really want to pee on your hood.
What the hell?
You want
to take a picture like you're pissing on my Jack Daniels car hood?
Yes.
No.
Just for fun. With water. Just for fun.
What the hell?
Why not? It'd be funny. I don't want to show any parts of me or anything. I just want to make it have that kind of appearance.
Oh, well, I mean, I would ask that you don't do that either. But
I like a shot from the back. A shot from the back, and you can't see that I'm using like a little water bottle to squeeze water.
Why?
So
Why?
You can kind of see the stream of water.
No,
because it'd be funny.
No,
I think it'd be funny.
I'm not letting that happen.
And we'll post that and ask Jack Daniels for endorsement. And again, I want to add to the whole Jack Daniels thing. I again had the parents who not only had all those things, but they had actually done the buying the square inch of land thing from Jack Daniels.
Oh yeah.
Jack Daniels would sell the square inch of land.
Yeah,
they bought some of those.
That's awesome.
So they have the square inches of land from what, Lynchburg, Tennessee.
That's awesome.
Right? Isn't that where?
Yeah, they're based out of Lynchburg, Tennessee.
I can say my disdain for Jack Daniels is literally about the flavor. I just don't like the flavor of it. I
can understand it not being great, and as a matter of, you're not really a sour mash whiskey kind of a guy, though, right?
Not sour mash. No,
okay,
no.
And that's exactly what Jack Daniels is. So
exactly.
It's not like a sweet bourbon. They say it's a Kentucky straight bourbon, quote unquote. No, that shit's a sour mash, man. Like it's a mixer. Like you don't. Yeah, if you want to have it straight, you can have it straight. Frank Sinatra drank the hell out of it.
Well, I mean,
straight on the rocks. That's what he used to do. But
I do want to comment that every time I would go out and do anything with you, like partying or whatnot, go to a bar, up to see your bands play or whatever.
Yep.
If you got to order shots, you would always order a damn Jack Daniels shot.
You're damn right I would.
And so I would make it a point that anytime I ordered a shot, I'd abuse you the opposite way and make you drink some SoCo.
Oh, God.
Because damn it, if you're going to make me drink Jack Daniels, I'm going to make you drink SoCo. SoCo, for anybody that doesn't know, Southern Comfort. And there's two different proofs that you can buy. I forget the numbers now because it's been a long time since I bought any. But I don't buy the lower proof. I buy the higher proof because it actually tastes better. And it's not about getting drunk because it literally tastes better. I will say for most people, it burns like hell. I like the burn.
That's the funny part about Jack Daniels. I like the burn as well. It's just the flavor is different. However, I will say that I am much more preferable to having it as a sipping whiskey. Like you have it as a sipping whiskey, and I'll break it down with a little bit of water because then you get the sweetness of it. Because there is sweetness of it there, but it has to be broken down by a little bit of ice first. It's got to be cold for me. Or I have it as a mixer, like Jack and Coke is my jam all day long. But that's where I sit. What I don't understand though is what I don't understand, sir, is I'm going to take it straight to this. How in the actual hell can you sit there and drink Robitussin out of a green glass bottle for like straight out? I don't understand that. That shit tastes like cherry cough syrup. I don't know why.
Actually, it tastes like NyQuil to me, and I love it. I can't.
You like the fact that it tastes like NyQuil tastes like NyQuil tastes like a leprechaun's asshole. Why the hell do you like that?
Well, here's
and honestly,
hold on. If you make
Jaeger,
the leprechaun
I'm quite
happy,
sure it tastes like licorice flavored leprechaun's asshole.
If you make the leprechaun happy, he'll show you his pot of gold. I'm just saying. But no, I it's this one of those things where it's the subjective taste of different people. We had the discussion about how the beer snobs will judge you on the flavors of beer that you drink. And when it comes down to it, it's all about the perspective tastes of people and the things that they like. I mean, I've been called a snob for liking certain things. I've been called cheap and trash for liking certain things. I mean, I'm sorry, but I haven't met a vodka that I can drink and enjoy. They're all completely disgusting and nasty. Specifically, the worst one I ever had was that one that Dan Aykroyd made that comes in the Crystal Skull.
Oh, really? Crystal Skull vodka?
That shit was like drinking rubbing alcohol. It was awful, terrible. One of the worst things I've ever had in my life.
There's a few of them that I've actually dug on. There's only so the only vodka that I've been able to have that I've enjoyed because it's because of how it's filtered and and where it comes from. Grey Goose is really good. I personally prefer Grey Goose as a vodka if I were to have one, but I also don't drink a lot of vodka because it doesn't sit well with me. There was another one, actually an independent one. I think it was like I want to say it was like some kind of a freshwater vodka or some stuff from it's like out of France or some shit. I think it's Summum or something else. I can't quite remember.
Huh.
But
okay, I don't know.
It was a it's basically it's a very, very, very well filtered vodka. It's almost tasteless, but it mixes extremely well. Like that's what I have when I have a White Russian. I use that stuff because I've made White Russians with the cheap plastic bottle shit. You know what I'm talking about? Like there's that one brand of plastic bottle vodka people always make their screwdrivers with.
Yeah.
And I can't stand that stuff. And a screwdriver even made with that stuff, it just you can't break it up, dude. It just normally kicks you in the back of the mouth.
See, normally if I'm doing a White Russian, which is a drink I very much love and have had far too many. Well, no, I haven't actually had far too many of. I had just enough of to have a really good time at different points in time. I typically like to use a flavored vodka for that.
Oh, really?
I like to use like a vanilla or a whipped cream flavored vodka for that.
Oh, that
because then it
sense.
adds the extra element of sweetness and flavor on it. But like even when it comes to whiskeys and bourbons, there are so many different varieties and tastes that to get people to align to the different things, and that's one of those things where I've been kind of made fun of for being a kind of what's the word I want to use bandwagon jumping and cheap and whatnot for the whiskey that I like the most. Admittedly, I have not had a lot of them to sample because most of the ones I want to sample are beyond the price range I want to spend.
Understood.
For somebody who really doesn't drink alcohol that often.
Yeah.
But as far as the stuff that you can buy in almost every store, I'm a huge fan of Jameson.
I think Jameson's fantastic.
Jameson likes me too. It's one of those that I can drink. I can drink, enjoy. It doesn't mess with my stomach. It doesn't give me a hangover the next day. Really, I'm as always. I'm good at stopping because I don't have a problem with stopping when it comes to alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those that I can take and have. Over the course of a night of 5-6 hours drinking and partying and having a good time, I can drink about a half a bottle in normal size bottles, about a half a bottle of that over the night, just taking my time with it, not trying to slam it all at once, just over ice, big gigantic balls of ice, but over ice.
Yes.
And just take my time drinking it, sip my way through it. and no ill effects. I don't get overly drunk. I don't have any ill effects the next day. It's like it's so far been one of the most successful, enjoyable alcohols that I've had. And I've had people say, "Oh, that's better than like really crap whiskey, but it's not really good whiskey." I'm like, "Well, it's the whiskey I like, so I'm gonna keep drinking it because
yes.
I like it." But I've been called the snob for the beers because I when I go to a bar, I'll order a Guinness and people will be like, "Oh, you like Guinness?" Been called a snob, been called a hipster for the Guinness. Although I've been called a hipster for ordering Pabst Blue Ribbon too, which both of those I drink for the flavor. I don't drink for any kind of status symbol or anything. I really like how Guinness tastes, and it's not for everybody. I like how Pabst Blue Ribbon tastes. Two totally different things.
Yeah.
Also not for anybody.
Understood. Yeah, completely. Say. I find it really funny. I don't know if I've mentioned this. I probably have. On a few things. First, for some reason, PBR gives me a headache. Like I will have a headache 5 minutes after I drink PBR.
This is the one chemical in it that messes with you. The sulfur compounds. Right.
Oh, yes. I actually have. I realized relatively recently in the last few years. I tell you about the sulfur allergy, how I discovered I had a sulfur allergy.
You told me about it. Plus, you told everybody else about it, and I remember specifically. Told everybody on the podcast about it. I remember specifically. It was when I was still during our early days of doing this. When I was still with my my older computer, we were doing it on Facebook, and I was actually in my bedroom doing it. I would crawl onto my side of the bed and sit there on my side of the bed with the computer set up because it was the only place I could find that was quiet enough in the house to be able to do the podcast.
But that's like when we first started doing that, huh?
Yeah, we were doing it like Monday and Tuesday nights when we had the opportunity to, and we were still coming out on Thursdays. And because it was at nighttime, we were each having we kind of made it a little party where we were each having a drink or two while we were doing it. My wife would show up with beverages partway through, not saying anything, of course, because she knows better than to say things. I shouldn't be saying anything bad about your wife right now. She's trying to help me out with something, so I should be really nice to her. I love you, I really do. Not like he does, but I still love you. Anyway,
that was great.
She'd bring me in some different drinks, and you had various drinks that you'd be drinking, and I think there was a few times I had wine, and we had the wine discussion during it. A few times I had some of the other stuff. I believe everybody learned about my problem with being able to eat eggs and drink beer at the same time because it doesn't go good, and that's where the sulfur compounds discussion came up.
Okay. All right. Well, then I've mentioned that.
Yes, you have.
The other thing, going back to how you were talking about Jameson, I know you're very much a fan of Jameson on its own. Have you ever done a Jameson pickleback before?
Of course.
Oh, okay. I don't know if you tend to prefer that. Those are wonderful, by the way. I think those are great.
Well, I'm the type of person that like just grabs the jar of pickles, and as long as it's mine, which by the way, I have my own jar of pickles in the fridge.
Understood. I completely understand.
They are my pickles. Nobody else is allowed to touch my pickles because I do stick my hand in the jar to grab pickles. I don't use a fork, but that's because it's my damn pickles. The only person that's supposed to be in that jar is me. My wife has her own jar. And the other people in the house that do eat pickles, they have their own jars. And I don't mess with my wife's jar of pickles. She will sometimes distribute pickles to the grandmother that lives in the house, but my wife distributes those pickles. The grandmother does not get into the jar herself to get the pickles. My wife gets them out, but we get our own. And part of that is because her and I like different styles of pickles. She likes sweet pickles and just straight dill pickles. I'm a lover of garlic dill pickles.
Garlic dill is great.
Oh yes,
dude.
And
there's what's that jar? They made it's I know it comes in a plastic container, but it's those. It's pickles with garlic. I think there's a little bit of carrot in there, and then there's some other like just spices and stuff.
I know what you're talking about.
Those are so good, and I can't remember what the hell the brand is, but those are some kick-ass pickles. Those are some of the best pickles I've ever had.
I know what you're talking about. I just don't know exactly what it's called. But no, I'm also particular. I like smaller pickles. I don't like the giant ones.
Okay.
Because I have really crappy teeth, and so biting through the giant ones is really difficult for me. So the smaller ones are easier because you can kind of pop them in your mouth and let the molars do the job instead of the front teeth. And yeah, my front teeth are garbage. So it's it's life. It's genetics and drinking way too much goddamn soda and way too much candy throughout my lifetime.
And yeah, I guess
I'm not gonna lie. The soda and the candy destroyed my teeth, made me diabetic, made me fat. I mean, it did all those things. My mistake. I did it. I knew it was going to do all those things, and I did it anyway. So it's on me. But anyway, yeah, I've definitely done the pickleback. Like I say, I'm the pickle juice drinking type. When Sonic, the restaurant Sonic, when they came out with their pickle flavored slushes, I was there. Instantly. Really? I got me the pickle flavored slushes.
You are okay. You are far more pickle oriented, sir, than I. I can't necessarily. You know what it is? Like, if you're talking like relatively savory flavored stuff that has been conventionally sweet for the longest time, I just can't. I can't wrap my head around that. I know many people that try. There's another video channel that I watch. Good Mythical Morning. Have you ever heard of them?
No, never in my entire life.
Don't mock me, you jackass.
Will It Taco? Anyway, sorry.
Yes, Will It Taco, the blood tacos. I've seen those. No, the most recent one that they did was where they swapped flavors. They swapped main flavors of two different types of food.
I'm having a minor issue. One was like I'm having a minor issue here. I'll let you continue in just a moment, but I'm just saying we're talking about their channel, but are they talking about ours?
Well, sorry, I mean, we're continue. Not. Oh, I mean, do you want to contact them and see?
I'm not sure if I want to deal with that or not. Contact them and be like, hey, we talked about your channel. Why don't you talk about ours? And then listen and be like, yeah, so these two guys, one of them sounds like he has no soul, and one of them sounds like he can't see his feet. And quite frankly, I'm not sure that we recommend anybody ever listening to these two people. Like, even their wives just need to run. Just run.
Yeah.
And the scary part is both of our wives have watched their show and do watch their show, which is how I know about them. Plus they've appeared on like different things that I've seen, but my wife watches them. She of course watches them, not listens to us, but watches them. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, when they see that, they'll be like, okay, yeah, maybe we need to run. But anyway, yeah, no, I don't want to go down. I don't want to go to that. So what's the what flavors did they swap?
I know they did a garlic ice cream, I believe. Was the one that's the most
I would try
memorable. See, I would not. I was looking at that and going, why the fuck would you do that? Like, this just doesn't, man, it doesn't, because
for me, you have those moments of like, you're eating it and you're going, this is just wrong.
Right.
But it fucking works. It's just like to me, it's like the idea of when you tell people about chicken and waffles at first, they're like, no. And then when you explain it more, okay, I can see the waffles like a bread for the chicken, fine. But then you have to say, but you have to put syrup on it. No, you can't put the syrup on it. No, you have to put syrup on it. That's the whole point. It doesn't work the right way for chicken and waffles if you don't put syrup on it. You're gonna put sweet syrup on chicken? Yes. Sweet syrup on chicken.
You know what?
It doesn't make any sense.
Here's the crazy part. Here's okay. So this was a garlic versus mint swap taste test. So they did garlic coffee and mint wings, like mint hot wings.
See, I could. I could probably be okay with the mint hot wings, but the garlic coffee, I don't know.
Now, I did know that they did garlic ice cream, but I don't know what they did, if they did sweet something else. I can't remember. There was a list of things that they did, but I didn't watch the whole video. I'm going from the thumbnail right now that I'm finding.
And that's the thing is there's some that I can see giving it a whirl to see if it works, because I've seen some weird flavor combinations with things where you're thinking to yourself that can't work, and yet it does. It actually works, and you're going, wow, okay,
Yeah.
this really works. I mean, the idea of I do a very easy shredded pork, very, very simple, easy. I don't go through the whole trying to smoke it and all that stuff, because I got kids and I got house to clean. And I mean, do you realize
I can't go through that bullshit?
Do you realize how much laundry a family creates, especially when you got like one member of the family that for some reason feels the need to wear different night clothes every night, and different set of clothing, like complete set of clothing every single day. They can't reuse the same pair of pants. No,
oh, okay.
I'll go like 3 or 4 days sometimes in the same clothes if I'm not leaving the house.
I'll
basically wear the same clothes for 3 days.
Yeah, I'll do a couple, maybe 3 days max, because the pair of pants that I left on the floor still has my belt on it. Like, that's kind of where I go. I'm lazy as hell.
I don't wear pants. I just wear shorts.
No, I know you do.
But like, that's the thing. That's the thing is, unless I go to a job interview, where those come back up again. Even the online interviews, by the way, I still wear pants just to be safe, because you never know when they're going to ask you to stand up. Just saying, or when you might have to stand up. If like you have to say, "Excuse me for a moment, I need to go do something," and you stand up and you're wearing just a pair of shorts underneath, or God forbid, just your underwear underneath, you get yourself in a little bit of trouble. That's if you're gonna go to the trouble of the shirt and the tie and the jacket, put the damn pants on. Just do it. You're just sitting in your house. Just fricking do it. Anyway, moving on. I'm one of those people. I mean, I don't wear a whole lot when I sleep. I certainly don't wear a brand new set of pajamas every night when I sleep.
Fair.
I mean, I don't really own pajamas. So it's one of those things of like those people that have to change everything every single day. They require a lot more laundry to be done a lot more often. There's things to do. Now, I don't do all that stuff as much anymore because of the kind of shift in our household. My wife has taken on more of those duties. It used to be I was the one who did all of those household duties. I did all the laundry. I did the dishes. I did all the cooking. What cleaning I actually got around to doing. I will admit it that way. It's the truth. But I did those things because for many years my wife was working and out, doing her various things that, we've had a paradigm shift in that. So I don't necessarily do those things anymore. But when I came up with this recipe for this shredded pork, I was doing all those things. So I didn't want to have the time to take to try to smoke, a pork. Roast, and I didn't use a big one because we don't have a lot of leftover eaters in the house.
I'm sorry,
the way I said pork roast.
No, you didn't even say roast. It was the sentence sounded
pork.
Yes, smoke a pork
roast.
Sorry, it killed me for a second.
I know. Anyway, so there's smaller pork roasts because we don't have a lot of people again that like to eat leftovers, and I can only eat certain leftovers. I can only eat so many days in a row when I'm the only one doing it. So,
right.
My method is a very simple one. I just cook it in a crock pot, and I take the pork roast, put it in the crock pot. Take about I try to give it kind of a barbecue-y flavor because that's typically what people like. But you can use any sauce if you want to shred the pork for like tacos or nachos or whatever. You can use a different flavor than a barbecue. Usually I do a barbecue and then just have them as like shredded pork sliders or whatever.
Right.
So with the barbecue method, I'd use about a half a cup of barbecue sauce, a bunch of different spices that all kind of work together. Some dehydrated onion, some garlic, some just basic things that'll work, give you kind of that barbecue flavor. And then normally I put that all in the crock pot with a can of beer, just any beer, can or a bottle of beer, just the whole thing in there. And it gives it kind of a little bit of the beer flavor, a little bit of the barbecue flavor, and it kind of mixes in real great. Well, one time I decided to do something a little bit different, a little bit weird, and I did it with Dr. Pepper for just a different kind of a flavor to see how it would work. And I was freaking out about it, but I had seen a recipe where somebody did it, and I was like, you know what, screw it, I'll put the Dr. Pepper in. And it was like this sweet Dr. Peppery shredded pork. And it was like every mouthful, it was like, this is so weird. It shouldn't be right, but it's actually pretty freaking good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
I can see that.
For Christmas one year when we were making a huge feast for like 20 people, we made the pork as one of the side dishes, but instead of using beer or Dr. Pepper, I actually used an apple cider in there. like a hard apple cider. So it gave it kind of an appley spicy flavor. And I even put a little bit of cinnamon in, which again, you think cinnamon in with meat, actually it really well. I suggest next time anybody's making tacos at home using like ground beef or ground turkey, whichever you use for your tacos, add a tiny bit of cinnamon in there. You're thinking that's not going to work. That's going to make you want my taco meat to taste like Cinnamon Toast Crunch or something? No. You add your other spices that you always add to get your taco-y flavor,
right?
Your taco meat flavor,
right?
But add just a little bit of cinnamon in there, and there's a richness to it that comes. You get just kind of the littlest hint of it, but it actually adds a whole bunch of flavor. You don't think it's going to work, but it works.
I like.
It doesn't work though.
What?
You know it doesn't work?
What?
Chocolate covered bacon. That shit just doesn't work.
Really? I think it depends on the type of chocolate. Like I wouldn't do like dark chocolate, but
the one that
I'm not really a fan of dark chocolate in general. So
yeah, the one that I had, the chocolate covered piece of bacon that I had was god awful. It was one of those things like I thought it would be a good marriage of things, and it was not.
It needs to. First off, no, you can't chintz yourself on chocolate covered bacon. It needs to be a damn good cut of bacon. First off, you need to make sure that it is a properly done cut of bacon.
I can say this. I bought it at a candy shop at a tourist location around Sacramento, right near the river.
Really?
Yes, I bought it at one of the candy shops, and actually, we'll say where it's at in Old Sacramento, which is like the only real tourist location in Sacramento. Because otherwise, what else are you coming to Sacramento for?
There's nothing here. Yeah,
I mean, there's a couple of museums like the Railroad Museum and the Crocker Art Museum, and guess what? Those are all located within like 3 or 4 blocks of Old Sacramento.
Yeah, exactly.
So there is really nothing else for culture in Sacramento. There isn't.
Yeah, it's Old Sacramento. It's Joe's Crab Shack. It's the Crocker Art Museum, and like that's it. Like none of the all the malls here, they're not that great. Nothing. There's nothing really. There's no.
You can walk from Old Sacramento under the dodgy freeway tunnel to get to the K Street Mall, and
is the K Street Mall that impressive? Like I remember it was kind of cool back in the day, but I haven't seen it in a while, and
no.
Even though it's been like renovated and stuff.
Last time I did that walk underneath the and for people who don't know the Sacramento area, it is literally a gigantic tunnel that goes under the freeways.
Yep.
And it's freaky to try to walk through it. It's just weird. You feel like something bad's going to happen, but like you'd also think that nothing bad is going to happen because it's fucking Sacramento.
I mean, you don't really want to go walking down there at night, but like
no.
But during the day, it's kind of cool.
Last time I was there, though, last time I did that walk, because I was at Old Sacramento just a couple weeks ago, but the last time I did that walk was probably, I'm going to say 10 years ago, 9-10 years ago.
Yeah.
And what I was doing was I was passing out flyers for a show that was happening that night at the underground bar that's no longer there.
Oh God!
Vegas is no longer there.
Wow.
I was passing out flyers for that show to try to get people to come to that show that night because we were there early to literally pass out flyers and get as many people into Vegas as humanly possible.
Yeah.
I don't think I helped you out that night. I don't think I got you any more people to come to the show.
Hey,
it was a cool venue.
No, you were helping. You were at least putting the word out, man. And like still to this day heavily. That's been about the last time I was down in that area. At least underneath that underneath the overpass there.
Well, I actually, funny enough, we're at almost the exact date. Let me check for.
Oh, really?
Let me check for certain here. Hold on. I'm going to check for certain. Yeah, I don't care about any of you. I'm looking something up. Sorry.
Was that 09, 2010, something like that?
No, not that one. Not that one. I'm talking about something else. Something that happened even further back than that. If you can imagine. You were there. I remember you were there. Let's see if I can find out the date here.
Okay.
It's you stupid thing. You're not giving me the date. Well, it's the year.
Do you have an archive somewhere? Like, where do you find that? Are you talking like just looking at the Facebook flyers or something? Or
no.
This are you perusing our MySpace page from back in the day? I think we've still got image uploads from old flyers there.
Oh dear God, I might actually be in some of those pictures and other pictures. But anyway, no, I don't know about that show, but I know that roughly around this time, 20 years ago, you went to the K Street Mall under that tunnel.
Yes. God, it's been a long time.
And I know because I was there with you, as was my wife, who wasn't my wife quite yet at that point, as was our internet guy, Rob.
Yes.
Internet guy and commentator on the show. And one of my wife's actual youngest sister, who still lives with me now.
Oh God, how old was she?
I'm like young. Let's just put it that way. She was very, very young.
Yeah.
Young enough that halfway through the day of walking around Old Sacramento and the K Street Mall, before we even got to go see Shrek for the day, which is the big thing that happened. We saw Shrek when it was first out at the theater there in the K Street Mall. She was young enough that she got so tired walking around that we had to alternate, you and me, between carrying her on our shoulders around the place.
Right.
And she was light. She was small and light enough that we could lift her up and carry her on our shoulders.
That's right.
Because she got too tired. And Rob, sadly, because of his arm surgeries and the things that he's had to have happen in his life, was not able to really carry her up on his shoulders. So you and me alternated between that.
That's right. That's right.
Pretty funny thing looking back now.
Yeah.
I think about it. Think about the last time that you saw her and think to yourself, yeah, when she was a little kid, I carried her on my shoulders. Weird. Now she's a full grown adult. This is just weird. But no, there's not much of a draw there. But anyway, I was in back to the original point. I was in Old Sacramento when I got the chocolate covered bacon at one of the like 10 sweet shops that they have there in Old Sacramento, because that's like there's a toy store, there's a movie memorabilia store, there's Evangeline's, the costume store, and there's like a bunch of places where you can get saltwater taffy, and that's basically all. There's the Wiccan store that's there, that's like it alternates between really cool stuff and really chintzy stuff, and you're not sure which one you're getting each time. I've gotten good stuff there, but seriously, that's basically all there is at Old Sacramento. So people from outside of Sacramento, seriously,
it's like 2 blocks worth of stores, and that's pretty much it. You hit everything on the head. Store, like, yeah, that's and in the all candy
stores. In the candy stores, basically, you're paying like just understand. Saltwater taffy is kind of the big draw, which I don't understand specifically why. I guess it's supposed to be like an old timey thing.
Yeah.
But like, if you want to get any normal candy there, like if you want to get a regular size box of Nerds, like just the regular 2-color size box of Nerds at the candy stores there, be ready to pay like $2.50, where you could get them at a grocery store for like 65 cents still to this day.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's yeah. But anyway, yeah, the chocolate covered bacon was awful. Awful.
All of that over the bacon. I love that. That was good.
Well, I think we diverged from what our original point was going to be in the conveation.
Yeah,
so
but
right
I kind of
now
like this.
We're at a point now where I think we should take a break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we will have one of the topics that we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, during the break, basically, we're going to argue, and if we were face to face, we turn this into some kind of death match or something.
Yeah.
If we were at your house, I would just like throw a treat in between Adam West and Clint Eastwood and see what happens. For those of you who don't understand those references, yes, Mike keeps in his basement that is non-existent a actual Adam West and actual Clint Eastwood. They're chained up in his basement. He lets them out for public appearances whenever he decides it's okay. And
well, I mean, technically speaking, Adam West has been retired then.
Yeah, I guess. But anyway, point being.
Boy, that is
we'll
let's just not explain that. Let's not explain it. No, let's
I don't want to explain that. People who know. People who don't know.
But fuck it.
We have at different points. If people have listened and they can put the pieces together, they'll know exactly what we're talking about. Everybody else is gonna be like, we need to call the authorities. That little redheaded guy's got Adam West and Clint Eastwood locked in his basement that doesn't exist.
Don't start the conspiracy theory shit, man. You realize people latch on to something like that?
But you know what? You know what happens when people latch onto something like that?
What?
Then Budweiser and Jägermeister might be wanting to give us that endorsement. I'm just saying. You get famous, you get stuff. Anyway, we'll be back.
I see where you're going.
Of course. We'll be back in just a minute.
All right.
Hey friends, this is Mike from the Xennial Chronicles reminding you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Xenchron, spelled Xenchron, to keep up to date on all things TXC. And please check out our official website, theXennialChronicles.com, or if that's too much to type, Xenchron.com. Thanks again for listening, and now, back to the show.
And we're back.
All right.
So I won the battle. Well, I mean, Clint won the battle technically because that's who I put my.
Technically speaking, good. I could see Clint Eastwood winning. I mean, Adam West is absolutely ruthless, but
do you know why I put my money on Clint?
Why?
He's got the better theme music.
I mean,
okay, Adam West theme music. You think your grandma's coming to visit? Isn't it just saying Nana Nana over again? All over again, right?
I guess.
Your grandma's coming to visit. Clint Eastwood's theme music, Metallica's about to be on stage. I'm sorry, but Clint Eastwood wins with the theme music.
I hate you because you're right.
I know. also to continue a little bit of the conversation, also why I hate Modelo beer. Never had Modelo beer, but your freaking commercials piss me off because I'll be in the other room and I'll hear the music and I'll be like, did somebody turn on a Metallica concert? And no, it's just Modelo beer trying to sell itself using Metallica's now entry music. Nothing.
Metallica doesn't own the entry music.
I know, but they use it. So that's all I'm saying.
All right then.
Anyway, different topic for right now. We had two competing topics we were going to talk about. One's going to wait till next week because it needs the entire time of a podcast to talk about because it's stuff we've talked about before, but new developments, new wrinkles, and new approaches from us. This one though, this topic we're going to have here is something we've touched on a little bit before, and it has to do with the idea of the whole generational thing. The start of this podcast was to try to speak, Mike and I both, from the mindset of the Xennial generation, this micro generation in between the Gen Xers and the Millennials. That every time I see a generational thing, they leave us out. They go straight from Gen X into Millennial, and I don't think that's appropriate and fair. We have our own mindset. We are not Gen Xers. We are not Millennials. We are also not. What was the term that you saw? Geriatric Millennial.
Yeah, somebody. It was some 27-year-old CEO or something like that. Coined the term Geriatric Millennials in an article, and I was like, "Fuck that." Why the hell are you going out of your way to call the older millennials? We're just in our fucking, like, millennials are technically just in the millennials themselves, the older millennials, which she is talking about the Xennial generation, because she actually stated that they were born like starting in 1978 or something like that.
So they're like 43 at best. They're not geriatric yet.
They're just approaching their 40s. And people are like, the funniest part about it is just like, bitch, 15 years ago, everybody was talking about 40 being the new 30. So get off it. Like, there's no fucking way you're just going to skip over that amount and call us geriatric when we're 40 and we don't, like, most of us don't even own a house. Like, the just the idea of it is just ridiculous.
We didn't get the same opportunities that the boomers and even some of the Gen Xers got because y'all screwed it for us.
Exactly. Geriatric millennials is bullshit. that triggered me, man. That pissed me off.
I mean, it was those generations, the damn boomers and the first, or the Gen Xers who went and elected a damn spaceman's weapon for president. But that's a whole different story. You know what a spaceman's weapon is, right?
A spaceman's weapon? No.
Yeah, it's a ray gun.
Oh God! Wow, I'm not sure anybody would have caught that.
I know, that's the whole point. Anyway,
okay.
My references are deep. Anyway, though, we've said before that most of these new technologies that are happening, all these new things that are happening, are very much for the younger generations. This is the world that they're coming up in, even though they want to label us geriatrics. This is their world that they're building, and they're the ones comfortable with all these technologies. They were built in many ways to service them, and are still being made to service them. But that does not stop. That does not stop the baby boomers and the remaining the Gen Xers from thinking that they know how to use all of these things and trying to use them. Now, you do have your savvy Gen Xers who know what they're doing with social media platforms and know what they're doing with all these new technologies. Less often do you have the baby boomers that know what they're doing. And everybody has in their family these grandparents and these great aunts and uncles, or maybe parents and aunts and uncles, depending on your age, which generation you fall in, that have these little problems with the various social medias, with the various, newer technologies. You have them who don't understand how to order things online from Amazon, or hell, do the grocery orders at like Walmart to just drive up and pick up those orders. You have them that don't understand how to do these things. You have the ones that actually do and are very comfortable ordering things on Amazon and going through all the various even for me talking, I'm referencing Amazon because I only know so much. Because again, even for our generation as the Xennials, we only have so much of this technology as our technology. It is stuff for the younger generations. I mean, I know that TikTok exists. I kind of know what it is, but that's the level of understanding of it. And it's okay in many respects because TikTok is not necessarily something that was made for our generation. This was made for the younger generations. But here's the thing.
I mean, do you remember Vines? Do you know Vine videos?
Yeah. No, again, I get what TikTok is.
I was going to say, it's pretty much the same fucking thing.
I get what it is. I just don't understand how you go about doing any of it. I'm sure it's very simple and easy, but I can admit, without any problem, I can admit I don't completely understand it. And therefore, because I don't completely understand it, I don't get involved with it. I don't try to stay up with the kids and know all these things, and I don't understand how they work.
Fair. Fair.
I have certain apps that are on my smartphone and certain apps I don't have on my smartphone. Why? Because the apps I have on my smartphone, I understand how each one of them works. I do my banking on my phone. I have my credit card apps on my phone. I know people from the Generation X group and even some boomers that you try to tell them, oh yeah, you can get your bank app and do everything that you need there. You can take pictures of your checks. It'll deposit them the next business day. You can transfer funds. You can you can send funds to other people through various things. And they're like, no, I'm not gonna trust to have that information on my phone. Somebody can get it. No, it's pretty secure unless you're accessing stuff on open Wi-Fi networks, out in public, you're in pretty secure situation. No, they can read your phone anywhere. Not really. I mean, they can, but not really, and they don't typically. It's certain locations. You go to Starbucks where they have Wi-Fi available, and you sign into their Wi-Fi, and then you sign passwords. That's a possible place where you might have somebody getting your information.
Yeah.
But if you're sitting at home in your own secured network, accessing your stuff, it is literally just as secure to access your phone and the app on your phone to check your bank as it is to pop open your laptop, wait for it to turn on, wait for the internet part to start working so that you can go to the website and access it there to check your bank balance and check all your stuff on the bank's website. Literally, same thing. And
I think that, okay, real quick, can I sidebar us for a second, especially with what you're talking about? This is something that would, I think this is a good time to talk about VPNs. Are you familiar with VPNs? Do you know what they are?
Yes.
Okay. So what's funny is what he's talking about is technically true. It's still not technically very secure though, because depending on where you're at and all that kind of stuff, even at home, sometimes people can break into home networks and steal that information. VPNs secure that in an entirely different format, and they're meant for home devices. They're meant for your phone. They're meant for your laptop. They're meant for those things so that they can encrypt that data and allow that on a much different level. It's securing the network versus securing the device.
And yes, but my comparison of it is just as safe to do it on your laptop computer as it is to do it on your phone from the comfort of your home. Same exact thing from either one. And
it's when you're in somebody else's network, exactly what you said.
It's when you're in somebody else's network that you would worry more about it. And just to add on to this, in some ways, the apps are even more secure because what you may not know is on your home computer, if you've been using your laptop to be on the internet, looking at Amazon, getting in your Facebook, if you're really old and still know all your MySpace, since you mentioned it earlier, all of your MySpace passwords and stuff, which by the way, I've forgotten all of those. So I have no idea if those things even exist anymore. You don't know what you may have clicked on or downloaded or what you may have put on your laptop. And the thing is, when you're accessing the site through the bank site through your internet browser, you don't know what might be attached to your laptop that you may have inadvertently put on there because you weren't paying attention to the things that you clicked.
Right.
Even if you get the stuff on your phone, the apps are actually more protected. If you're using the banking app to get into your stuff, they have more protection built into the design of the app than what your internet browser has built in. Not saying it's going to completely protect you, but they have more. The apps have more protection built in to their design than what your internet browser has to access the websites. So, I mean, anyway,
I think that's a case by case basis, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Point being here, there's certain levels of comfort with technology, but by and large, you have a lot of the older generation who is not technology still trying to be involved with the social media as ways to stay connected to their family in a way that they no longer have the ability to do through force and intimidation like they used to do. And what I'm talking about by the force and intimidation is I remember the lifestyle of growing up, and on specific holidays, you were basically demanded to be at certain family members' houses because that's just what was supposed to happen. Right. And every so often you were supposed to call those people, especially the younger generation being forced to call the older generation all the time because that's what was expected. If you respected them, you called them. They didn't call you, you called them. And so this is no longer holding true in the way that society has kind of flowed, and the way that the only way for some grandparents to stay in contact with their grandkids who don't have the same demands able to be placed on them as what used to be is to be involved in the various social networks. Many of them don't understand these networks and don't understand that and we've had discussion before, when you post something on your Facebook wall, you're basically yelling it to everybody that's in your little friends room.
Yes.
It's like you're standing at the front of your friends room, all these people that are your friends, and you are screaming this thing to make everybody hear it.
Yes.
When you comment on a friend or family member's post, what you have then done is you've walked into their friend and decided to yell in their friend's room for every one of them to hear.
Yes.
This is why very often, if I'm unsure about how what I say may or may not be taken or whether it's appropriate for me to say something, I will send a message to the person as opposed to comment on their post.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to walk into somebody else's room and start yelling after they've been yelling, unless I intend to do it for a specific purpose. I did it just the other day. Somebody I know had posted something about not using. Here it was. It's okay to cut somebody out of your life as long as you don't use your sewing shears or your sewing scissors. And it's a person that loves sewing. So, you don't, for anybody that knows anybody that loves sewing, you don't use sewing scissors for anything but cutting fabric.
Oh, okay.
And I made the comment of, especially your wife's sewing scissors. You don't use those for anything, like ever. And it's the funny joke of if you're the husband of a wife who likes sewing, and has all their sewing supplies, just don't touch their sewing supplies. You don't mess with their sewing supplies. In the same token, that if the one person in the household is the one who uses all the tools, and this be man or woman. And by the way, with the sewing supplies, it can be man or woman too. But the kind of misogynistic society thing is the woman does the sewing. But if you have your specific supplies of something like your tools, don't nobody else touch a person's tools. That's their tools. Don't mess with their tools. Unless they give you permission, don't mess with their tools. You may have household tools and you may have personal tools. I have personally in our household, I have my musical instruments. Nobody else in the household plays the musical instruments. They are my things. Nobody else in the household touches the musical instruments. My wife is somebody that enjoys. She enjoys it. She's quite good at it. I don't sew. I can't really make anything like that to save my life. I'm awful with those type of things.
Right.
I think I've sewed a button on before, and it was like, I think I used like a quarter of a spool of thread to sew the button on, and there was more thread than button. I really don't know what I'm doing. All of those supplies are hers. And right. I do not touch any of them. And it's not because, I'm a dumb man and can't touch her stuff. It's because it's her stuff, and I respect that it's her stuff. So I'm not going to mess with her stuff. She wears makeup. I don't mess with her makeup. When I had to wear makeup for the theater production I was in, the play I was in, when I had to put makeup on for that, I didn't go rummaging through her makeup. I asked her, do you have things that I can use for this purpose? Stuff that I'm not going to be using your regular stuff, but maybe extra stuff that I can use. Or can you help me go buy the stuff? Because it had been like 18 years since I'd used any makeup for theater, for being on stage. Respect her property, her things. Even though we're married and have been for years, she has the stuff that's her stuff. I have the stuff that's my stuff. We respect each other's stuff. We don't use it. If we don't have a pressing need to use it, then we don't use it unless we've talked with the other person, because people like to have their stuff. You know what I mean? It's about respect.
Right.
So anyway, I made the comment because I thought, it'd be, but anyway, point being, there are, I know, I keep diverging from the point. There are many ways that people are using these social media. And again, the grandparents using it to keep in contact. However, many of these grandparents, these baby boomers, these Gen Xers now, which Gen Xers are grandparents. That's funny. I have brothers that are Gen Xers and one grandparent. I think the first thing I said to him after he told me that his kid had a kid was, "Hey, Grandpa, how you doing?" "Shut up. Yeah, you're a grandpa now." But they're using these social media things to keep involved with their family, with their kids. But what they're having the problem with is, and I'm sure you've had this problem, Mike. I'm sure that people listening have had this problem.
Mm-hmm.
You'll wake up in the morning, right? Or you'll be just checking through your phone. You'll get a notification on your phone, right? You as the Xennial or a young Gen Xer or the millennial,
mm-hmm.
You'll get this message on your phone that your family member is sending you a friend request. Somebody with your family member's name is sending you a friend request on Facebook. Somebody that you're already friends with on Facebook.
Yep.
Somebody that you know well, that you talk to on a regular basis.
Yep.
Again, grandmother, mother, aunt, whatever. Typically, these are people of the older generations, the boomers and the older Gen Xers. And you go to click on it, and you can see immediately this is a fake profile.
Yep.
And this happens predominantly, not exclusively, but predominantly with your older relatives that are on these social media platforms.
Yeah.
And there's a reason this is happening, for those of you who don't know. And this is maybe an opportunity to try to nicely, to help your older family members out.
Yeah.
To understand why this is happening to them, and try nicely. So don't say anything like you're stupid or you're old or, you shouldn't use these things, or you're old, or, any of those words, because those hurt the older people. If you want to use them, go ahead, but I'm going to just say, try to be nice with them, because they'll take the message better. And here's the problem.
Well, okay, hold on. I have a question here, because there's,
go ahead.
So this type of information can very much be fake. You literally can just log onto Facebook and screen copy you can literally copy and paste a picture from one medium to another. And you can also just look at somebody's basic information and fake it. Or take a look at what information they've put in personally, right? And create fake profiles based on that basic information.
But
so how is this? How is
one
this?
Of the vectors that this is happening? Mm-hmm. One of the vectors that this is happening in is information data that's collected when you click on certain things and share certain things.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this. So, and that makes a lot of sense, because then they start to they start to match certain depths of stuff that you can't just get from a Facebook profile.
Well, that's part of it, but the other part of it is there's a lot of fake pages that are created through Facebook. Facebook is the most common way that these things happen, obviously, because it's the most readily used social media network to keep in touch with people. And what'll happen is and this is more older generation, but anybody that you know of any generation that is constantly clicking on whatever things they see that look interesting on Facebook and sharing things constantly that are just little supposed wisdom sayings.
Yes.
Or all these things. These are the people.
My favorite ones are the quizzes. Have you seen those?
Yes. Oh,
Jack found out he's 325% asshole. It's like, you just gave what personal information to somebody?
I'm getting to that one in a minute.
Yeah.
I'm getting to that one in a
minute. Okay. I didn't know you had that planned.
These are just the ones where they're clicking and sharing affirmations or supposed quotes from people or all these different things. I kind of like that. They don't know the page that is promoting that. They don't know anything about it. And what happens is when you click to share that, they have the information that you shared that page that was created has the information that you share that. And there are the terrible, almost criminal people that make these fake pages to get these fake pieces of information to be able to make fake accounts on Facebook and try to mine your friends and family for different. If they can get your friends to become friends with them with the friend requests, then they can start mining for other things. And so the more that they're clicking on things and sharing things, the more open they're getting themselves to these things happening. And you will find it is the people in your feeds, the people on your friends list. Mm-hmm. And yes, it skews more towards the older, but there are younger ones that do it. Mm-hmm. The ones that do all this sharing, all this clicking, all of these things, they are the ones that have the fake accounts brought up more often than not. And again, in my personal experience, it's been the people that are of the boomer generation that I know, and they are also the ones that share so many things. And one of the biggest Trojan horses that they use to get at your relatives that especially the older relatives fall for, religious sites on Facebook, religious pages on Facebook are the most notorious for trying to get your information, copy your pages, and create false ones.
Hold on. Wait. What you're talking? Are you talking about like? Now this is where I'm lost, because do you mean like? Are you talking like false religious pages, or are you talking like Joel Osteen's Facebook page? Okay, so you're talking like under
Joel Osteen. Hold on, Joel Osteen is a whole different story for a whole different time.
right. But
one where I need some political immunity from crime before I start talking about that story. No, I'm talking about pages. Let me be clear. I'm talking about pages that they will be some kind of religiously themed title, and everything that they post are some kind of religious message, affirmation of things. They'll do the whole, they'll do the picture of like the smoke from a car accident, and it looks kind of like an angel, and it's a description of the accident, and the person thought they were dying, but saw this and were able to keep living. And do you see the angel? Repost if you see the angel. These are the type of things that I'm talking about. They're not like official religious pages, because those exist and those have whatever their personal religious thing is. They have those things. I'm talking about, this is a vector that they use,
right?
That the scam artists use to try to get these family members to share the posts, like the post, to do all these things where they can start getting all this information, they can start becoming aware, is they piggyback it on fake religious posts, these religious affirmation posts, scripture things that, share this if you believe in whatever. And that's that they're basically using the stronger faith of the older generations as a weapon against these generations to get their information.
Interesting.
And so
okay,
it's a very kind of, it's an evil way of going about it, because religion is so, as much as personal feelings on religion, the biggest one is religion is the way that we as people make sense of our existence and give order to our existence.
Yeah,
this is what religion is for so many people in its most basic form, and their connection to it is deep and meaningful and almost defines who they are. And using this as a Trojan horse, as a trick to get into people, is just, it's diabolical, it's cruel, it's a horrible thing to do. And this is what is being used regularly, because the people who have these strong beliefs and these strong faiths, they see these things and they want to share, they want to talk about it because it means so much to them.
And it's being used as a venue.
It is a trap that they're putting you into.
It's being used. I like the terminology you used as a Trojan horse, because it's exactly what it is. What they're doing is they're fishing for information. And the way that they're doing it, that's the cast, man. That's literally the cast is throwing out those religious posts to see who they can catch. And then now, just to be honest, I don't think I think that is one of the generalized venues that can be used. Yes. I don't think it's mainly based on religion, but I think that you really hit it on the head with that. That can be used as one of the main venues. The other stuff is anything that people have strong opinions about. So if you're talking about strong political opinions, strong religious opinions, strong opinions based on life philosophy in general, you know what I mean? If you're looking
at religion in many ways is one of the biggest of those. And and especially for your baby boomer generation and your Gen Xers, religion was much more a fixture in their life than it is in some of the younger generations' lives.
Yeah.
And much more just it's not so much that it was as talked about and as present. In fact, it wasn't as talked about in many ways. It was an accepted part of life.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's more of a questionable part of life. Then it was just kind of accepted to not have to not be a part of a mainstream religion at that point in our society, in American society, would have been the real aberration. Whereas now being a member of a different religious group is more of the strange thing, and being I
think that's
a whole different topic.
Exactly. I think that's an entirely different topic. But what you're hitting is exactly. I wanted to touch on the point that those things are not the only venues that are used in order to manipulate people into giving out. Because here's the deal. That is what he's talking about. That's the cast. When I say that they're fishing for information, they totally are. But that's the tester. That's these people shared these posts from this page. And let's consider Facebook in general as the venue that's being used. Facebook actually tracks what you do and what you share. And they then throw that information at you again because they know that you'll engage in it, right? That is a major basic, that is a basic function of Facebook. What the fuck? Facebook, right? So you have, you're going to be fed information that you interact with. If you react to it negatively, they may show you less. You can independently tell Facebook that an ad that pops up is something you don't prefer and you don't want to see it again. And they will stop sharing.
I've sent a few of those away.
Yeah, you pack that off. You can actually literally tell them, I don't like seeing this ad. Why? It's irrelevant, or I'm offended, or XYZ. And what they do is they will,
or I'm tired of you spying on what I'm looking at Walmart. Damn it.
Yeah, exactly. I love talking about something, and then my phone tells me that it's on sale.
Yeah, Facebook does that too. If you look, like I'm having a little bit of a renaissance with hot sauce right now.
Nice.
I have one hot sauce that's kind of my preferred hot sauce.
Nice.
But what was it? last week, in fact, my wife was out shopping, and her dad had mentioned something about a different hot sauce.
Yeah.
For eating with fried chicken. So she went and grabbed this hot sauce for fried chicken, and then grabbed another one just because it looked interesting. And she's like, I want to give it a try. I've seen this at a bunch of restaurants, but I've never actually tried this one. And brought them home. And like the next day, her dad brought fried chicken over, actual fried chicken over.
Nice.
And so it was like, oh, we're gonna have some fried chicken, and popped out that sauce. Hey, we got the sauce for it. So we sat and ate some fried chicken with the sauce. And it was a sauce I'd never had. Different, interesting flavor, but it went really good with the fried chicken.
Nice.
I don't know if it would necessarily go good on tacos, but it worked good with the fried chicken.
Okay.
What? Were you wondering what sauce it was?
Yes.
Crystal.
Never heard of it.
Sauce.
Gotta try it.
It's one I hadn't heard of. Most people I hear of when it comes to doing fried chicken, Frank's Red Hot is one of the most common ones.
Yeah, that's everybody's got. Dude, you go into most restaurants now and they have Frank's Red Hot on the table.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the flavor of that one specifically.
It's very tangy. A lot of vinegar in it. I don't really like it.
Yeah, so yeah. I think I've heard of it being described as that way, more of a buffalo style.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm doing a kind of hot sauce revolution. So I was checking out hot sauces the other day on the Walmart app, because my wife was going to do some the shopping, to do the shopping order and pickup. And I was seeing if there's any new ones I wanted to add with what we had. I'm like, nah, we got 3 sauces in the fridge. I'll leave it be at that for right now. Well, technically we have 4, but I don't consider Tabasco a hot sauce because Tabasco is just gross and I don't like to use it.
Oh no, but, I'm a fan of Tabasco. Sorry, man. Chipotle Tabasco is my jam. Like on eggs and on
Jack
on
Daniels,
burritos.
Tabasco. I mean, you and me really have a different.
Let's just say if you were looking for shelter and you had lost your house and you came over here because you needed shelter, you would leave of your own accord with the stuff I like.
Why?
Because you hate all of it.
Yeah, good point.
But anyways, getting back to the...
I just kill you and eat you. Are we talking a post-apocalyptic
scenario? Are you
scenario,
sure? Because I'm going to be made up of all
house?
that shit that you hate. Like,
I mean, if
you're to cook me, I'm going to be a Bud Light, Jack Daniels battered hot sauce, Tabasco flavored human.
Fine, I'll eat Adam West and Clint Eastwood. Anyway,
how dare you stay away from my...
Damn, you gave it away. Anyway, see what happens. But anyway, I started seeing you need to bleep that part out.
I gave it away. You want me to bleep it out?
Just the word. Just the one word. Or actually just to stay away from and then bleep that part out. Don't do the my. Or even my works, because you never know what you said after my.
Right, exactly.
Ooh,
no, I will.
I'm saying all this. Now I'm saying all this, and it's intriguing. You just need to, and no bleeping. Let's do it in Xennial Chronicles style. You have to quack it out.
Oh yeah, totally quacking it.
Got to quack it out. Anyway, so
stay away from my duck.
Yes. Stay away from my duck. Yes. Whatever that means, you don't know. You don't know.
Okay, so getting back into it, one of the other things that I wanted to, if I can segue this into another form,
I was just gonna just to finish.
Okay.
Whenever I'm looking at any websites now, all is ads for hot sauce. Now go.
Oh yes. So another venue for this is just what you're talking about. I noticed that is, like I said, that's casting the line to see who's going to share it, and then that information gets more fed to you, and then more intrusive stuff gets thrown out, right?
Yes, and this is when we get into the quizzes that come.
Oh yes,
the quizzes. And you see these people, they'll share the quiz, right? They'll share this quiz, and the first question on the quiz will be something like, what was the car that you took your driver's test with? Guess what they're trying to find out, people?
Dude, right?
They're trying to find out, because most people, the car that they took their driving test with is probably the first car that they ever owned. And what is one of the most common security questions? What was the first car you ever owned?
Dude, that is ridiculous. I've seen a few of those. Like, there are like the 15 question quizzes that are posted by family members of mine that definitely shouldn't be sharing that information. I'm not going to get into direct detail, but it's like, who was your first crush and are you still together and where was your first kiss? And I'm like, why the fuck are you sharing this information on Facebook? There is no reason. First off, you should talk about any of that to anyone and state it like at all, because dude, that's somebody, you get that and you get like an IP address or dox you with your MAC address or something, and you got somebody's credit card information immediately. Right?
Yeah.
Or
again,
these are
all
dude.
the questions. These are all the questions that work as security questions.
Yeah.
For different things. What was your childhood nickname? What was your first pet's name? It's like, fuck you. I am not telling you those things.
Yeah, exactly. That's the fun. Oh, dude, I love that. Actually, there was one that I saw that was people were sharing have you seen the porn name one?
Yeah, it's like the name. It's like is it the middle name and the combination of something just upon?
Wait, you cut out. What was that middle name and the what?
The street that you grow up on, something like that.
I think it was one of them is your pet's name, and like your first pet's name and the street you grew up on, and it's just like, why would you share that? Like, why would you share that? I actually was gullible enough. I didn't post it, but I've talked about that. I've said that to direct friends because I find it hilarious information, because those two names do piece together. Most of the time they piece together to some pretty mighty names, but you don't post that information because people know how to glean that information.
I just want to say, if we use my first pet's name with the street I grew up on, assuming the first street that I lived on as a child, I would be a female Hispanic porn star. So
I bet you it'll work though. Like, I got a couple of them. I will share those with you, and neither one of those, neither one of the ones that I have, like I have one from like my childhood and then another one from a little bit later, because I moved to multiple houses and had different pets. Yeah. So there are so many combinations that were great, but I'm not going to share that. I'll share it with you personally, but I'm not going to put it on the podcast because that's a bad idea. But the types of questions that people put up are just absolutely ridiculous. But also those other questions, and that's just the quiz that people post their answers on Facebook, on the Facebook post in the comments thread, right? It's just like, what the fuck? Like, I've started to get a little bit sketchy on the auto-generated, like, I am an XYZ, or this is this, and let auto-generate complete the sentence. It sounds fun. Yeah, no. And I've done that once or twice, but I don't know if that's going to give away anything major. And so I've stopped doing it because I don't think it's smart. Like, sometimes those things get past you because they feel like they're fun. They're fun. They're funny. A lot of the time they are entertaining, but it's just, there's just too much of it that just feels like it's really getting into some personal, because what the auto generate is, it's the most common word said after those words, which means that you may be giving away a certain aspect of what you say or your personal life with the auto generated center text.
And moreover, what's your personal syntax, the way that you personally communicate, you can give that away. Like for instance, if this is something I don't mind sharing because people won't know when to put them into the messages, unless they again know me.
Right.
But I've mentioned before that when I text to people and I message people, I use ellipses a lot. And the ellipses are my attempt in typing to make people understand the cadence of the speech. Like when they're reading it, they should read it like I say it, and I have a different cadence to my speech. I do a lot of pauses. And they're purposeful pauses to make the point, and I try to imitate that in that. I've actually been accused of being a idiot Gen Xer because I use ellipses so much, and I'm like, I get the idea behind that. There are that group of Gen Xers that do use ellipses too much. Yeah. But when I explain the reason why, and then you actually listen to me talk, there's a reason, and it makes sense. When you read something that I have written with the ellipses in it, you can read that and hear it in my voice in the way that I speak. Reading it goes like, yeah, that's literally exactly how James talks.
Yeah.
That's what he does. Those are the pauses. I can hear him saying this, pausing for a second, then saying this, and it makes perfect sense to me. That's how he talks about things.
Right.
If somebody was to send you a message from me that had no ellipses in it, no replacing like sounding words for other words but still making sense, no weird in fact, there's even been sometimes when I've sent you messages where they're just simple like single sentence messages that don't have any kind of weirdness to them, that you've been like, are you okay, are you all right?
Yeah, this seems out of character. For sure.
Not a normal not a normal message. It'd be very hard for somebody to actually type and write messages, texting, or like that sound actually like me typing, that seemed like you could read it and go, that's okay, yeah, that's James.
Yeah.
If somebody else was to try to do it, even my wife has tried to do it, and she doesn't put the ellipses in the right place. She doesn't even structure the sentences in the right way to make it sound like me. And people don't realize that it's the way that you write things is just as much of a personal fingerprint as the way that you talk. The way that you order your sentences, a bunch of attention with Star Wars is always paid to Yoda and the order in which he speaks sentences. And there's even real life dialects that work that way because of the fact that they don't necessarily focus on the same order of things as what English does. When I'm typing, I don't necessarily write things in what would be appropriate English as far as subject, verb, predicate, whatever the stupid things are. I don't know them because I only know certain parts of English, not those parts. But anyway, I don't necessarily follow all of those rules because I'm typing in a way that's, again, attempting to mimic my conversational tone.
Right.
When I'm sending messages to people. And it's different if I'm sending a message to, say, principal of my kid's school that I want a phone call about something. Then I'm using appropriate speech, complete sentences, proper way of writing sentences.
Right.
But when I'm sending a message to you, I'm totally not doing that at all because I'm having a conversation with you.
Yeah, it's characteristic of you. It depends on who you talk to and all that kind of stuff. But that is the thing about that is
those predictive texts. Yeah, doing those predictive text things, you can give these different pages, people that are watching, whatever, you can give them the insight to how you communicate, what type of words that you use. And they don't need as much as you would think that they do.
Right.
To be able to get that kind of information. And again, you're seeing it's a subset of the population, not entirely people that are just the ones that don't understand the technology and are just trying to use it for, connection. That's a good portion of it, is the ones that don't understand the technology. The other side is the people that do understand the technology, but have a whole different attitude about using that technology and aren't necessarily the most intelligent. So your older relatives that don't understand the technology, they are not the dumb ones. They are just people that don't fully understand what all the technology can and can't do, and may find themselves in these sticky situations of having these replicated and fake profiles that are built.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I have a few people that are on my friends list that literally the same like 3 people have over the last 5 years had at least each one of them have had at least 4 fake profiles set up in their name. And they they run in roughly the same circle of things that they share and things that they look at.
Yep.
And
because a lot of people keep that information public too, like things that you like, bands you're into, like, and that's on the younger end, but people, they share the movies they like, they share the pages that they follow, they share like all these different things out in the open. And if you want to make sure, the best thing you can do to make sure that information is not shared is to keep the profile private. But also, if you want to have a public profile, you don't necessarily have to share those things that you want to, that you don't necessarily have to share those things that you like or that you follow. There are options. They're kind of deep into the options. You have to go into those options because part of what Facebook does and part of what a lot of these social media apps do is their purpose is to sell you shit, right? And their purpose is to sell you and your friends and your family shit based on your influence on them. Everybody influences each other in social media apps, what they follow, who they like, all of that stuff. So you need to make a conscious effort to personalize or privatize that information if you wish to do so. And it's your choice, but you have to be extremely careful about what you share, because anybody could log in. They don't even have to know where you're from. They just need to look at your profile, and they can impersonate and copycat a bunch of things to make it look as legitimate as possible and pass it off to somebody. And then you've got other people that are, then you've got one relative who has a real Facebook profile that James now has to be on high alert when he sees 2 or 3 or 4 copies of those. And the same thing happens to me. So I see exactly where you're going with this, man. This is extremely important.
And by the way, I just want to say, I don't let friends or social media influence the thing I buy. I don't listen to them. I don't know. I mean, I make my own decisions on things. I am an independent thinker. Oh, by the way, that lotion that you recommended, fantastic for my feet. Anyway, moving on. I didn't buy lotion. I didn't buy lotion for my feet, people.
I know.
And just because he likes it, I'm still not buying any Jack Daniels. Not going to do it.
Yeah, well, you're still not pissing on my car hood, fake or not.
I won't even buy Jack Daniels for my dad as a gift because I am so opposed to it. I'll buy him so many other things, but I ain't going to buy Jack Daniels.
Does he like Jack Daniels?
Yeah, he's the one that collected this stuff.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and that's funny. Everybody else in my family likes Jack Daniels. I'm the only one that doesn't.
Well, the next time I meet up with your dad, we might have a drink. You can be out of the room. That's fine.
I'll drink my own stuff. Thank you very much. Although out of respect, I've done it before. Out of respect, I might drink the Jack Daniels with you. I'm just going to be bitching and complaining about it every single fucking second of it.
Throw it on ice and
still do it.
Throw it on ice and make it a cocktail. It's fine.
It doesn't make it taste better, at least to me.
All right.
Anyway, Jack Daniels, throw us some money. Anyway,
after all of that.
So, the point here is you're going to see this. You've seen this with your relatives, especially with Facebook, with their fake profiles. This is why, if you didn't know beforehand, this is one of the reasons, not the entire reason, but 1, 2, 3 are the reasons why these things happen. And if you have the ability to talk to them about it, if you have the ability to caution them, I have tried to speak with the grandmother that lives in the house here. I've tried to speak with her about these things because she's had it happen to her as well. These multiple profiles coming up and different things happen like that. And I've suggested to her that she be a little more careful about the pages that she likes and things that she follows and the things that she opens and the things that she shares. And sadly, sometimes the reaction you'll get will be, so I just can't do anything on these on these phones, on these computers, on this Facebooks. Yes, she pluralizes it too, just like you.
I did not do that on purpose.
Liar. And so you'll sometimes get that reaction, and that reaction is the frustrated reaction of the person who does not really know how these things work, but wants to try to stay as relevant as possible with the modern world.
Yeah.
And that's a difficult frustration for them. It really is. And the thing you can do is you can try to help them learn.
Yeah.
If you want to. I mean, it's a thing to try to help them learn. Sometimes they want to help. They want to be helped learn. Sometimes they don't. And then at that point, all you can do is just try to be as supportive as possible and understand their heart's in the right place. They're trying to stay connected, but these frustrations are going to happen. And hopefully you understand why and can help them through them when they do happen. And it's something that happened to me this last week, more than once actually, with one family member. They had 2 different fake pages made, and I had to alert them, hey, I just got a friend request, and I'm thinking, yeah, you got a fake page made or fake profile made for this. Okay, working on it. And so these things happen, people.
Yeah.
Let's help our older generation and not subject them to the as Xennials. Let's help the older generation who doesn't understand it if we are the Xennials that do understand it. And if not, go snag a millennial from somewhere and get them to explain it to the older generation.
Exactly.
Whichever one works.
Yeah.
Whichever one works. But anyway, that's what we have to talk about today. Hopefully we've inspired you to, since it's Memorial Day weekend, again, honor the fallen.
Yes.
If you feel the need to barbecue, I mean, I feel a little weird this year for Memorial Day because I have somebody that's actually treating us for the day because they have the day off. My wife's dad has the day off that day, so he offered to make ribs for us.
Oh, fantastic.
Since it's the day off for him, he doesn't have to work. He's offered to make ribs for us. I was like, okay. He's like, well, you guys do anything on Memorial Day? And I'm like, no, I kind of keep it a somber day. I don't feel right barbecuing and doing all those things on Memorial Day because it's seriously, if I'm preaching that you should be this way, I do live it. I don't just preach it and then, yeah, you guys should be somber and memorialize this thing and reflect on the people who have fallen, but go out and drink beer and have barbecue anyway, because that's what I'm going to do. No, I try to live what I preach about. But he's like, yeah, if you guys don't have anything planned, I'd like to do some ribs. I have the day off. I'm like, okay, cool. We don't normally have the barbecue thing going on that day, so yeah, if you want to do ribs, so we're getting ribs, so that's nice. But I will say, Mike, you know what I'm having for breakfast on Memorial Day?
You better be having what I think you're probably having.
What am I having? Say it.
You are at least, sir, having some Spam.
Of course I'm having Spam on.
Fantastic. I will be doing the same.
You know why? Because it's the most patriotic meat that you can eat. Spam patriotism. Hey, if we're gonna be getting money from anybody, give us that Spam money. Come on. Hell, you don't even need to give us money. Yes. Give us Spam.
I love that.
Here's what I'm saying. Hormel, I will put one of me, James. I'm not speaking for Mike. James, will take one of them giant magnets that you put on the side of a vehicle. I will put a Spam magnet on the side of my vehicle. I don't care if people find it amusing because I'm still, even though I've lost a decent amount of weight, I am still a fairly hefty guy. I don't care if I'm getting the laughs from doing the Spam thing on there. I don't care. I will put the Spam thing on the side of the vehicle. I'll advertise, just, hook me up with some Spam. You know what I'm saying?
Boy, I will tell you that the two of us do definitely, we may not agree on our drink of choice, but we definitely agree on Spam having a cultural importance to the United States for sure.
And see, that's just it. We can both look at each other and say, I know that he's a patriotic American because he knows how important Spam is.
Indeed.
And that's big. I know I can look in your eyes and trust you with that. That's trust.
Yes.
That's love, brother.
Exactly.
Anyway. So where are people listening to all of this BS, Mike?
Well, you could be listening to us on our website, theXennialChronicles.com or Xenchron.com if you don't want to type that much. It's spelled Xenchron. Speaking of Xenchron, you can find us on a couple of social media pages right now, or at least on Facebook and Twitter. Is that correct?
Yes, we are on Twitter. Although the person who's supposed to be in charge of posting things on Twitter is a lazy douchebag and still forgets to do shit because he's dumb.
Terrible. Well, he should be checking out that Instagram too. I think that he's supposed to be on Instagram. I don't know if we have an Instagram.
He is supposed to be on Instagram, but he readily admits he's too stupid to understand Instagram yet. Okay. So he's working on that.
Okay. Well, anyways, speaking of other places you could find us, we're on most available podcast platforms. TuneIn, Google, I believe Apple, Spotify, and yeah, I always it's such a long list. I just kind of wanted to just consolidate it to we're on most major podcast platforms and leave it at that. You can find us even if you Google us, you'll find us. What?
You don't have it written down anymore because you used to have it written down.
I used to have it written down in front of me, and I don't. It's all good. Failing at the outro.
Post-it notes can be very important for those type of things, especially if you're dealing with just a standard computer monitor. Our internet guy Rob.
Yes.
Our internet guy Rob. We have been friends since 1994.
Long time.
Since 1994, me and him have been friends.
Long time.
Okay. He still has to have a post-it note with my birthday on it for him to remember my birthday. He was there for my 18th birthday. He was one of two people that were there. My girlfriend at the time and him were waiting for me at home when I came home from work on my 18th birthday. Because yes, I was working on my 18th birthday.
Dude, a lot of people were working on it. I worked my last birthday.
I've worked most of my birthdays.
I gotta start taking my birthday off, man. Like I gotta start taking that day back. But I worked my last birthday, but it was because I had a new job and I didn't want to be a douche.
It's good to work on your birthday, but it is also a good idea to take your birthday off.
Yes. To everybody, man, you do you. If you want to work on your birthday, work on your birthday.
No, I just for you specifically, it's a good idea. I'm stressing that word. Anyway, anyway, so I know there's one other place, since I've disrupted your entire outro completely. There's one other place that you can find us. And what's that other place that you can find us, Mike?
I believe the other place you could find us, where our entire archive of all of our podcasts are, in video format, are on YouTube.
And that's a great place to find us, because you can learn about spam and be patriotic this weekend.
Yes.
Or you can learn about how Mike has a sulfur problem, like we discussed earlier, and we were during the episodes when we were drinking
sometime back.
Or you can even check out any other previous things that we did during this 3-day weekend when you need some time to do stuff or want to get away from relatives or whatever purpose, or if you're trying to be somber and properly respectful for Memorial Day. There are some somber and properly respectful podcasts on there too.
Yes, there are. And to be completely honest, there is all of them are there. There's even some videos for times when we missed a podcast. Except for this one last time we missed a podcast, we took a vacation, we just didn't do anything. But sometimes you have to take a break. Now, speaking of which, if you are listening to us on YouTube, you're probably listening to us on YouTube, the little video format. That's like the only medium that comes out now that I think about it. Funny enough. Anyways, while you're doing that, please make sure that you hit the like button if you like the video, and hit the subscribe button as well. There's a little red button right next to that like button over there. And there's also another little thing that needs to be done, and I completely forget what that is. James, what is that? I think you know.
I'm gonna go Victor Hugo on this. Quasimodo, that bitch. or in regular understandable terms, click the bell.
Click the bell.
Just click the bell.
Yeah, just click the bell. That way you get notified the next podcast or video that we put out on YouTube, and you'll be able to stay up to date with us on everything, man.
And it's kind of good to stay up to date, even though we need a vacation to set our proper. Mike had the shots to get, the second shot to get for COVID, and some rest that he needed for other personal reasons. And I almost had a mental breakdown. So sometimes we just need a little time to hey, it's honest, I almost had a mental breakdown. There was some crazy stuff happening. Yeah. So you need a little bit of time sometimes for some downtime. But while you're there checking out our stuff on YouTube, getting away from any of your obligations, being lazy, or just trying to keep yourself entertained while you're working a meaningless job that you're only there for the money so that you can buy more spam. And if you're Mike Jack Daniels, while you're there, check out Mike's other two pages, because he's got two other pages there on YouTube. He's got his Ruling Note music page. Yeah. This is where he talks about basically everything music related, gives you some history of different things that have happened in music, some gear and some tech stuff.
Yeah.
That's, if you're a musically inclined person, go check that out.
I've got a video actually supposed to be coming up soon. If I may interrupt, I just did the VO on a new video that I'm going to be putting out. I got to compile everything and edit it. But I just did the voiceover for it. So a new video is coming out on that channel soon.
Fantastic, sir. And when you're done with looking at that, if you're a video game, or if you're a video, there's the and or the or in that. If you're a video game person, Mike and his wife also have a video game. This is called Chronozode Games. Yes. And this is where Mike and his wife play various video games. The intention is to play them in chronological order of the story, not necessarily in order of when the video games came out.
Yes.
And this is for video games that have multiple games in the franchise, tell rich stories. And basically, what it's really about is listening to and watching Mike do a terrible job at playing video games, and his wife berate him over and over again. Because when is that not funny?
Exactly. That's all we're saying. That is actually quite a lot of fun. I did a couple of. I actually legitimately accomplished a couple of things this last week on Red Dead. I loved it.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah. I'm not going to watch.
I robbed somebody's house and I stole a carriage and sold it on the black market.
You're a piece of shit and you need to die.
That's the game.
Yeah, no. See, this is why I have trouble with games like this. I just can't do it, even in the course of the game. My morals are too strong. I feel too guilty. I'll be sitting
Dude,
there
I've been
going,
having a hell of a time. Tasha spent most of the
house.
episodes telling me that I'm a terrible criminal, and I am.
Well, that's a good thing. See, like, I can be a murderer. That part doesn't bother me. But like stealing from people, I'm not okay with that. I'll kill somebody before I steal from them. Anyway,
that's fantastic.
Thank you all for listening, and we will be back again with another episode next week.
Y'all have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in, friends. The journey continues next week.